Hello, welcome to Animal Physiology. I'm away at a conference right now. I'll be back on Tuesday of the week, but I wanted to give you a brief introduction to the class before Monday so you can go ahead and get rolling with the things of the class before I get back. So, again, welcome to Animal Physiology. Let's talk a little bit about how the class is structured. First off, Animal Physiology is a completely flipped classroom class, which means that you're going to be watching lecture videos outside of class, and then when you come into class, we're going to be doing some things that are more interactive, trying to expand on that knowledge and try to really kind of hammer home the concepts. Now, one thing I do want to say about flipped classroom is that you might really not like it at first, but please give it a chance. The peer-reviewed literature on flipped classrooms has shown pretty regularly that it leads to better learning, but also leads sometimes to lower student satisfaction. It's not quite as comfortable as a normal lecture style format, but it does lead to better learning. So that's the main reason I'm going with this format. So I hope that you'll keep an open mind about it and give it a chance as we go through. All the due dates for specific lecture videos are listed in the syllabus, so you can go onto there and see what day specific videos are going to be due. And what I mean by due is I'm not going to be checking if you have actually watched those videos. The concept of it being due is that it's by that class period that we will be using those concepts in class. And so if you have not watched the videos for that portion, you are not going to have the background knowledge needed to go ahead and tackle what we're doing in class that day. And so you're really going to get left behind. So please do watch those videos. All those videos are going to be posted on D2L. And so what you'll do is you come into D2L here, go into content, and then there's going to be a unit online lectures. Under there's going to be a folder for each section that we have. So there's 3 sections in the class, and each of those sections is going to have its own folder. All of the videos for a given section are going to be posted at the beginning of that section. So at the beginning of the class, like as in right now, you should be able to go up and see all of the videos before the first midterm. And if you want to, you can watch all of them right now. And then there's going to be subfolders for the specific lectures, and then you can play the video in there. Another thing is to keep in mind is that the video the reading, they're not replacing lectures necessarily. They're replacing the kinds of reading outside of class. And like all the videos, so for every year up to a given rate, going to all at once, so that you can, if you want to watch them all, so want to, all right, you don't have to wait for us to be at this. And for your expectation for this, thinking, oh hey, these are our lectures, they will take an hour. That it will not only each of these lectures, because it's replacing the longer an hour, a little bit different time. I can say that none of the videos are a little bit more than a in-class lecture. Oftentimes, because they will sometimes ask, or they'll pause frequently, stopping to something else like that. Even though they'll be in 5 minutes and actually get through it. So do not expect it was in class. Sure. Okay. Not being to the lectures in class, you can't. The beginning of class period, I am going to and you can ask me questions any lecture that we have watched up to that point. And if I am really okay if they half the class period, that is okay. As you are watching online, make sure that you are jotting down. You can come ask me at the beginning of class. And again, I will leave it open at the beginning of class. After we get done, then we're going to go in some sort of, at least someone would not be able to get to it. This could be things like group discussions, as groups. We might have some lectures that go more deep, or just things that you normally can't get to in animal physics. Other things that you might be doing is writing methods for your that's a little bit more lab times come up as we get deeper into the quarter. That's another thing that be happening. This is for this class and online on D2L. You'll take all of the quizzes outside of class. And generally they're short. They're totally open book. You can use what you have to your disposal. That's totally fine. I'm not going to make you put away any books that you have. You can use whatever resources, online quizzes. Okay, let's talk a brief lab. Now there's labs on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And this week, please go to lab. Make sure you go to lab this week. It's there to do with it. Now, before lab, there will be something that you need to grab online. So go again to our content section. And from there, there's material for the lab that you need to bring in, like a lab handout or so, and grab that, bring that to lab. And you can bring that to lab on any format that you want. It can be a PDF on your laptop or tablet. You can print it out. I'm really okay with however you bring it. Although that being said, oftentimes, like Ed said earlier, there won't be anything for you to download because you will have written your methods for lab that week in class already on Monday. So yeah, just go ahead and be prepared for that. And every week, if we have not written methods already, go ahead and just make sure you have checked on D2L if there's a handout for you to come with. And there will be this first week. Okay. There's also going to be a major project in this lab. There will be some large project that you will undertake, and this will be kind of similar to the kinds of things you did if you've gone to Rosario, similar to what you did at Rosario class, but typically we don't typically do here on the main campus. You are going to be given the final 3 weeks of lab time to actually conduct the lab, to actually conduct your experiments, but you'll be writing all the methods prior to that. And there's going to be several due dates along the way to kind of keep you on track with that. And we're going to be talking more in depth about that early on in the course to get you prepped for that, but that's not something necessarily I need to dump on you right now today. Okay, so that's really the overview of the class. I'm really looking forward to being with you this quarter and going through this class with you. This is honestly one of my favorite things to teach here at Walla Walla University. This was it's kind of one of the classes that's close to my heart, and so I am looking forward to teaching this with you, or teaching this to working on. I don't know. I'm very looking forward to this class, so I hope you are too. Okay, I will see you on either Tuesday if you are coming to lab on Tuesday, or I'll see you all on Wednesday. Okay, just to give a brief intro to the first lecture, I'm going to just begin by giving you the first little introductory material to neurophysiology before I dump you into the first large neurophysiology lecture that we give. And just as an aside, that video is the neurophysiology part 1 video that's up on D2L. And that video you need to watch before you come in to class on Wednesday, because the in-class activity that we do on Wednesday will be based on the information from that video. So let's talk about some of the basic functions of the nervous system. And really, there are 2 major functions of the nervous system that pertain to this class. First is to collect, process, and transmit information. And the second is to coordinate other physiological functions. Now, this is actually why I do neurophysiology first in this class, is because The control that the nervous system exerts on the rest of the physiological systems is really important to how those physiological systems operate in most animals. And so we talk about that first because this is a topic we're going to keep coming back to over and over and over again when we talk about how homeostasis is kept in all the other physiological systems. And so really neurophysiology in many animals, not all animals, but most animals, is this really central physiological function that coordinates a lot of other physiological functions. And the basic component of the nervous system that we're going to be talking about is a neuron, a single electrically active cell that has the capability of passing information along. And we're going to get more into exactly what a neuron is in one of the later lectures. We'll get much more in detail into its function, its structure, and things like that. But for now, let's just talk a little bit about the things that a neuron can do. What are the different functions that a neuron can carry out? And one of them is that a neuron can collect information. We call these sensory or afferent neurons. And those neurons can pick up some sort of information either about the environment externally, internally, or they can be picking up information being passed on to them from other neurons. But that's one of the functions. They can also transmit that information. They can take information and they can transmit on to other organs, other neurons, other things like that. So they can also transmit information. They can allow for convergence of information. This is where you have information coming from multiple sources, and they can actually take that and combine that in some way. And when they do that, there's a couple things that can happen. They can integrate that information or do some rudimentary analysis of that information, in some way do some comparison or something like that. And again, we're going to talk much more about specifically how this happens and the kinds of things that happen here later on, but this is just to kind of get these primed in your mind for later lectures. They can also generate outputs, or to kind of anthropomorphize, make decisions. They can generate some sort of output from the information they receive, and they also allow for divergence of information, or information from a single source to go in multiple directions at once. So a neuron can receive information, and then that information they can send to multiple different directions. And finally, neurons can also control or influence organs and tissues and help modulate or change their physiological function as well. If this is happening on skeletal muscle, we call those motor neurons. But most other tissues that this would be working on, or organs, we just call them efferent neurons. So afferent neurons are collecting information and bringing in information to the nervous system. Efferent neurons are sending information out from the nervous system to other tissues or organs. Okay, so that gives you a really brief introduction to neurophysiology, and on from here, you need to go watch the very first video of Neurophysiology Part 1 on D2L, and that will be the basis of the information that we'll use in class on Wednesday. And again, remember to make note of anything that you might have questions on, because you'll have time to ask those questions at the beginning of class on Wednesday. So that's really the overview of the class. I'm really looking forward to being with you this quarter and going through this class with you. This is honestly one of my favorite things to teach here at Walla Walla University. This was it's kind of one of the classes that is close to my heart, and so I am looking forward to teaching this with you, or teaching this to working on, I don't know. I am very looking forward to this class, so I hope you are too. Okay, I will see you on either Tuesday if you are coming to lab on Tuesday, or I'll see you all on Wednesday.